What's going on, people? Yours truly, Cockney Prince Quincy, officially in the building with another extra time special, this time courtesy of the Black Film Collective. Right, just to let you guys know, right, I'm going to be speaking to a young man with a lot of women I've got a lot of time for. I don't know why, but he is a tremendous actor. So it gives me great pleasure to speak to the man himself from the manor, Mr. Idris Elba. So, Mr. Idris Elba, it's a pleasure being with you today, celebrating Luther. How you been?
I'm good, Quincy. I'm good, thank you very much. How you been? This is really weird, you know, because I've known you for like 35 years, but here we are in this formal setting.
And you know what? This is like a hat trick for me because I had Clint Dyer the other day. You know what I mean? So we're all Newham boys, all doing our thing. You know what I mean? So it's a blessing. But look, let's get down to the matter at hand. Luther, falling sun, right? I want to know. It's come back as a movie. What can the audience expect different from the TV show?
I think, you know, yeah, this says it right there. There's a TV show version and then there's a movie. And the movie has what you expect from movies, which is scale, which is depth, which is thrills, and which is essentially entertainment on a bigger platform. And, you know, from the character, John Luther, you're getting more of the same, but on a different stage. So if you love the TV show, I think you're going to, you know, sort of be in for a surprise for the film because it's just a lot more John Luther, okay? But, you know, if you don't know John Luther at all, then you're in for just a really good old-fashioned thriller, a How Catch 'em, you know, a character like John who just will not stop until he gets the bad guy.
So John Luther, he's a very complicated man. He's a troubled man. And I just want to know that how as Idris, get himself into a John Luther? And most importantly, how does he get himself out of that character?
I think getting into John Luther is always a sort of a phased approach, you know what I mean? Because, you know, for example, when I start filming, it's usually we shoot scenes that are easy to shoot, i.e. we don't go for the very complex sort of head character stuff so that I can get into it. Like I said, I was saying earlier that John is a very complex man. He has demons, he has, you know, you got to remember in the first season of Luther, John was basically committed to a home in order to help with his mental stability. He had gone through something that was harrowing and he was just literally dealing with that. And so this is a man that essentially isn't stable mentally, emotionally, but finds himself, you know, in a very responsible job as a detective, a murder detective. And, you know, he's good at his job. So for me, getting into that, I've just got to take my time. Getting out of John Luther is always a come down period because by the time I've played John Luther, there are, you know, it takes a lot of time. We shoot 10, 12, 14-hour days, high emotion, high angst, running around, always angry, you're never telling jokes. Do you know what I mean? Like he's just a very angst guy, you know what I mean? And so I come down from that character usually by doing me, you know what I mean? You know what I'm like, I make music. I like a tipple now and then just to wind down. But
Is like watching actors who take on very complicated roles. For me, it's very important for me to watch them how they detox from that character. And I've seen you after you finish filming and stuff like that, and it's like you would never believe you've just played a very complicated character. So I want to ask, how long do you think, right, considering the current situation in the Metropolitan Police Force, yeah, how long do you think John Luther would have lasted in this current Metropolitan Police Force?
I mean, you know, look, you got to remember, right, John Luther and the whole Met Police in the show is not based on the real Met Police. It's amplified, it's distorted. It's a bit like Gotham City. So in truth, you know, the guys, the bad guys, the cases, they're all a little bit lilted and twisted from reality. In reality, a character like John Luther would have been reprimanded a long time ago. He just takes too many corners and too many liberties, and they just wouldn't have that. You know what I mean? When I was studying the character, I asked that question. I was like, do you think someone like John could actually get away with this? And the answer was, in this modern day, no. Back in the day, like in the early years, you know, in the 70s, 60s, 80s, you know, characters like that were all the rage, you know what I mean? Because the checks and balances weren't as stringent as they are. But in this day and age, like, he would have been fired a long time ago.
Yeah.
Probably be in jail.
Yeah. And what I do find, even though he's got that kind of character, there's still people who trust in his work, says it alone. So in this movie, he's trusted by someone to find a child. So there is some good in. It reminded me of Darth Vader, you know, and it's, I see good in you. It is, I mean, after all that hysteria about him, what is it about the goodness of John Luther where people still give him that chance?
Because, you know, he's convicted. People love conviction. You could be an amazing footballer with no conviction and people aren't rooting for you. And you could be the guy that's on the bench and you get your little 5 minutes and you play with your heart out and people are standing up applauding you. He's got conviction. That's what it's about him, you know. It's like, you know, he just wants to get it done, you know what I mean? And even after he's done mistake after mistake after mistake, the Schenk character loves him. Just like, come on, John, get your act together. Because he shows heart, he's got conviction, you know. He really cares. He's not just doing a job. I don't even know if John knows how much he gets paid every month. I don't even think.
You know, I never heard you thought of that. Like, you never see him go to the back, did you? You never go to the back, yeah.
You never go to the bank. Oh,
No.
I've got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
You never talked about energy crisis, stuff like that. So look, in the movie, there's fight scenes, without giving too much away, there's a lot of fight scenes, a lot of action. So, you know, it's amplified. How much did you have to prepare for that, training-wise? Keep fit.
Well, not much, to be honest, because you know me, I'm super fit. So.
Yeah. Where's your acid pump?
No, do you know what? Honestly, the fight sequence in the jail was like, yeah, we had to stay fit for that because it was a long sequence and I did a lot of that. So it just, you know, take after take, you know, sequence after sequence, you know, you have to stay fit. Generally, though, when you're filming 14 hours a day, there's not much time to get to the gym, quite honestly. And you're sort of training while you're working kind of thing.
Yeah. So where can you see Luther? So without giving too much away of the plot, where can you see him as an officer in the world we are living in today, where everything's all digitalized?
I mean, I think that, you know, if we're going to try and build a character that has, you know, this is Netflix, right? So we've taken it from the BBC into a slightly larger playing field international audience, right? And for me, I feel that John isn't going to just be in Luther land. He's going to be international. I think we're going to take Luther land and take it to Brazil or to the Caribbean or to Korea or wherever, you know, and take him and his characters that he chases into a different sphere. Because why not? You know, like, might as well do something with scale. We've done 10 years of TV, which has been incredible, but now it's an opportunity to use the world as the stage, you know?
It must be nervous. Like, you've got a successful show. Yeah, it's loved by not just the British audience, but world audience. How nervous were you? Because I know you don't really have no fear when it comes to making stuff. How nervous was you to take it to the next level?
I wouldn't say nervous is the right word. I was very sort of like anxious that we got it right. It's only one shot, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the audience that have loved Luther forever see this film and go, what was that? That would break my heart and probably discourage me from wanting to do more. So that anxiety was definitely the drive. Like for me, Jamie, the director, Neil, the actors, it's like, whoa. You know, we've been talking about Luther the movie for a long time. All right, there you go. Do it then.
yeah. Oh, well, I didn't mean like that. Yeah, I can.
Like, do it like right now. Yeah, do it. Come on, let's see the film. So, if I'm honest, you know, I was more anxious than nervous. Now I'm excited because I've seen the film. It's a great film. Whether you like Luther or not, it's a film. It's a great film, you know.
Last couple of questions. Luther don't smile. I don't see him bust any jokes. Considering that we've got a fellow comedian in the show, Mr. Mikey Smiley, our Irish friend. What do you think makes Luther smile? Laugh.
What makes Luther laugh?
I know what makes Idris laugh. As a character, he doesn't bust no jokes. He's got no. What do you think makes Luther laugh? What brings smiles to his face?
That is honestly the toughest question to answer about John, because I don't know what makes him laugh. I think irony makes him laugh. Like, you know, when someone's trying to outsmart him and he's like, really? Is that what you think might work? I think that would make him laugh.
And I think catching the villain at the end, or catching him, knowing that he's one step ahead, he's like...
Yeah. I think when people try and sort of pull the wool over his eyes, which is such a weird expression, isn't it? Pull the wool over your eyes. What does that mean? Is that a jumper or something? I don't know. Yeah,
woolly hat, something like that. Yeah. So look, last question I want to ask you. So you get your inspiration for the character, and like I said, he's complex. Out of your boys, your brethrens, yeah, who would you say has got characteristics similar to John Luther?
I would say there's a combination of two of my friends that have characteristics like John. Both of them lovely guys, likable. Both of them really bad tempers and uncontrollable tempers. One of them is really sort of quite emotional, actually, you know, can be quite emotional. And the other one can be stone cold like iron. So I'm not going to say who they are, because you know if you know. But those two friends of mine are definitely John Luther.
Well, look, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. You know what I mean? It's a pleasure watching you do your work, man. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know what's really weird? It's having people talk about you, not knowing our relationship. And like, there's a couple of times I've had to like, I've had to, like, I want nothing. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's always good stuff. It's always good stuff, man. So I wish you all the best.
There's always that one, though. There's always that one.
Yeah, there's always that one. There's always that one. I've had to like, all right, quits. Don't let it come out. But it's all good. Mate, we will see each other soon. And I wish you all the success, yeah?
I can't wait for you to tell me what you think of the film as well, yeah?
You know me. You're not fighting no lions in this one, so...
Because I'm ready. Moving on. See you later.
See you later, yeah? Respect.
Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, bye.